Welcome to Crime Story Sleep. Tonight, we journey through 5 haunting mysteries from America's past. Unsolved, unexplained, unforgettable. From shadowy jazz killers to frozen forests hiding secrets, these stories linger in the quiet corners of time. Turn your lights low, let your thoughts drift, and allow these whispered stories to guide you gently into sleep. It was a crisp morning in Los Angeles, January 15, 1947. A woman was walking with her young child in a quiet neighborhood. At first, she thought it was a mannequin laying there in the grass. But it wasn't. It was the body of a young woman, cut in half, mutilated, carefully posed, drained entirely of blood. Her name was Elizabeth Short. She was just 22 years old, an aspiring actress who had come to Hollywood chasing stardom. But her dreams ended in horror. Her face had been carved into a grim smile. Her torso was separated from her legs, her arms positioned beside her. The press would call her the Black Dahlia. The case became a media sensation. Over 150 suspects, dozens of confessions, endless rumors. Yet no one was ever arrested. Some said it was a jilted lover. Others believed it was a doctor, someone with surgical skill. Still, all these years later, her killer has never been found. The Black Dahlia became a legend, not for her life, but for the terrible mystery of her death. And in the shadows of Los Angeles, her story is still whispered, softly, as if the city itself is still trying to explain what happened that morning. In the sultry heat of 1918, New Orleans was restless. Fear swept through the neighborhoods because someone had come, someone who crept into homes in the dead of night and killed. The Axeman, they called him. He didn't break doors. He removed panels with a chisel, slipped inside while families slept. Then, using their own axes, he struck. Most of his victims were grocers. Many were Italian, but no clear motive ever surfaced. And then came the letter, written by the Axeman himself. He promised to strike again on March 19th, but he said anyone who played jazz music in their home would be spared. That night, the city came alive with sound. Every home, every bar, every dance hall played jazz. And true to his word, the Axeman did not kill. He vanished not long after. No one was ever caught. And that letter, that strange demand, became part of New Orleans legend. Some believe he was mentally ill. Others think he was never real at all. But one thing is certain. For a brief moment, jazz music saved a city from the hands of a ghost. The Oregon wilderness is wide and quiet. Among the snowy pines, 3 men set up camp in the winter of 1923. They were fur trappers, experienced, cautious, and prepared for the season. Their names were Edward Nichols, Roy Wilson, and Dewey Morris. But when spring came, their camp was found abandoned. The tent was crushed under snow, their supplies still there. Blood was found on the ice nearby. And then, beneath the frozen surface of Lava Lake, searchers found their bodies. They had been shot, beaten, tied up. One by one, the men had been killed and hidden beneath the lake's frozen lid. Investigators believed the killer was someone they knew. Maybe another trapper, maybe someone with a grudge. But no arrest was ever made. The forest offered no answers, and the killer vanished into the trees. Sometimes it's not just the snow that covers tracks, it's time itself. In late December of 1956, sisters Barbara and Patricia Grimes went to see a movie in Chicago. They were excited, laughing, and like most girls their age, they were in love with Elvis Presley. They watched Love Me Tender at the Brighton Theater. They were supposed to come home around 9:30, but they never did. For weeks, their disappearance dominated the headlines. Some said they ran away. Others reported seeing them at bus stops, diners, or on the road. But none of it added up. On January 22nd, their bodies were discovered near a deserted road in Willow Springs. They were naked, partially frozen, and eerily preserved by the winter cold. There were no clear signs of what killed them. Some said it was shock. Others suggested smothering. One suspect even confessed, but later took it back. No one has ever been charged, and no one can explain why 2 innocent girls left the movie theater and never came home. Even now, in the heart of Chicago, The case remains one of the city's most tragic, unsolved mysteries. And the Grimes sisters are remembered as the girls who disappeared into the cold night and never returned. She was young. She was beautiful. She was rich. Dorothy Arnold was the daughter of a wealthy New York family. On December 12, 1910, she left her home to buy a dress. She stopped at a bookstore, spoke to a friend, bought a novel, and then she vanished. Her family waited that evening, expecting her return. But as night fell, fear took over. They hired private detectives, then turned to the police. But no ransom note came, no body was found, and no leads emerged. Some believed Dorothy ran off to marry a man her family disapproved of. Others believed she took her own life. But Dorothy was strong, ambitious. She dreamed of becoming a writer. Rumors swirled for years. Sightings were reported in California, Chicago, even Europe, but none were confirmed. Her father believed she had been attacked and killed shortly after leaving the bookstore. But with no proof and no trail to follow, the case faded into silence. Over a century has passed, but her story remains. A woman lost in the noise of the biggest city in the world. One moment she was walking down the Fifth Avenue, and the next, she was gone. And now, the stories grow quiet. 5 mysteries, 5 lives, 5 shadows in time. Their voices are gone, but the questions remain. And as you drift into sleep, may your dreams carry them gently, somewhere between memory and silence. Thank you for joining us at Crime Story Sleep. Sleep well and stay safe.